Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to another episode of Tuffy Talk After Dark. Yeah. Obviously, just got done with the Tuffy Talk Live Show where we, basically did a call-in show. Had a bunch of people tune in, which was awesome, by the way. If you were one of the people that tuned in, called in, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. It definitely went with a ravaging success for sure. And if you weren't able to get in, I know, like I was saying on the live stream, that there were some people that were trying to get in, but unfortunately with our account, we can only have up to 10 people waiting, which is, again, an awesome problem to have. But so if you weren't able to get in, make sure to just stay tuned. We will probably more than likely do that again here very, very soon. But with that being said, again, basically the idea of this is, kind of a continuation. There was a couple things that we wanted to discuss on that we weren't able to get to during the live show. So if you haven't seen the live show already, make sure to go check that out first. But it's not necessarily that you have to watch the live show first in order to understand what's going on here. But if we didn't discuss something here, it's probably because we covered it on the live show. So that's kind of the way to look at it. So with that being said, first of all, I think the biggest news of today was the news of Devin Carter
transferring, not transferring.
Announcing he's not playing in the bowl game and going to the draft. Yeah. But then he comes out and says, "No, I have not made any decisions on my future yet." So I wanted to kind of ask, first of all, am I understanding is he sitting? Is it first?
No,
because we know that he's not sure if he's going to the NFL or not.
Correct.
But is he for sure sitting out of the bowl game or not, too? We don't know that either.
The question is Devin Carter in the draft or not in the draft? And the answer is yes.
He's not. He is or is not in the draft. That's correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good question because he did not clarify about the bowl status.
Yeah.
But
right.
to me, one goes with the other. If he's going to the NFL, he'll opt out. If he's staying, I'm sure he's going to play in the bowl game. So I think all that will be worked out once he makes an official announcement.
Right.
We thought we got that from Coach Doran at his presser, but obviously that wasn't even correct, which is interesting to talk to that part of the whole situation.
Yeah, but definitely an awkward situation for sure, because, I mean, I did kind of feel bad for the Wolfpacker because I think the Wolfpacker was really the main first, NC State media stream people that tweeted out.
Pack Pride. They were about the same time.
Yeah.
Well, I know the Wolfpacker was the one getting heat, at least from the one coach, which I'm assuming is Devin Carter's former high school coach, that basically said, of course the guy is trying to jump to the story, can't let Devin say it first, which is literally, Dave Doran said in his presser that Devin Carter is staying out of the bowl game and he is going to the draft. So what is the Wolfpacker supposed to do?
Yeah, they didn't break anything new that they were aware of. They were just going off information that was provided to them by Coach Doran,
by the head coach,
in an official press conference.
Yeah, not by a source, by literally the head coach of the football team. So So obviously it's nothing besides that. Obviously, David Doran and Devin Carter need to have a conversation
which is interesting, right? Did they not have that already? Have that talk, or did maybe they have the talk? And,
what was that?
And there was just a misunderstanding. Did he have the talk and then maybe he has changed his mind since then?
What was that?
What's really?
I don't know. I mean, it has to be he's changed his mind. How do you? I don't understand where
why would the coach come out with that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Or maybe he was the one that wanted to drop the news and not coach.
Yeah. But the biggest thing, which I do want to kind of say, though, obviously, now that we've kind of talked about the elephant in the room from today, which is because I was definitely like a chairback, like what's going on? That's weird. But obviously, the biggest thing which I wanted to really talk about is, once again, it just seems like that the evidence of the Dave Doran culture that he is building is insurmountable. Really in the fact that now, once again, we have only three players in the transfer portal, and they can pull their names out. But once again, I mean,
probably
the last 2 years, and especially in a situation where you've seen, especially this year, the most players put their names in the transfer portal that there ever has been. The fact that we only have 3 players put their names in, I think, once again, says a lot about the culture that players want to be a part of this culture. And also, too, the second thing, piece of evidence I want to say, is the fact that Doran said in the press conference that he received many, many calls from coaches who wanted to coach as a part of this program. I think that says a lot. That's pretty cool. So That's kind of really my biggest thing that because obviously with me being a former football equipment manager, it always irks me whenever people call for Doran's head when it's like, listen, like I know we haven't won the AC championship yet, but everything else has been phenomenal. The culture, recruiting, development. Again, I don't have the tweet in front of me, but I remember there was the tweet, about Dave Doran saying he's had a Remington Trophy winner. He's had a Nagurski Award winner.
Yep.
He's had a Lou Groza Award winner. And all three of those guys were not like the big recruited guys. They weren't like 5 stars, like this guy is going to kill it. Like, Garrett Bradbury came in as a tight end. Bradley Chubb came in as an undersized linebacker. And then Chris Dunn, came in,
as a water boy.
Nobody, was expecting this out of him. I mean, nobody in their wildest dreams expected this from Chris Dunn. So,
besides Chris, it just goes to the culture, the work ethic, and it goes mostly to the individual wanting to be the best of themselves that they can be.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Now, so again, just really wanted to kind of speak in on that, and then also too, this tweet today really stood out to me from Wolfpack Stats. Saying from Tim Beck on 99.9 The Fan when speaking about the QB injury, said, and I quote, learned Leary was out on Tuesday, had 2 days to get a quarterback ready for Syracuse. Then we were able to get Morris ready during the bye week. Morris got hurt versus Wake and re-injured versus Boston College. Finley was on scout team, quote unquote, didn't even know what we were running.
Yeah, and see, this is where I think people are hating us sometimes. Or maybe this is point to where there's different coaches at different strengths, right? So, to me, tells me Tim Beck knows how to develop quarterbacks, guys. I mean, he can coach quarterbacks, and he did so with Devin Leary. He did so with Jack Chambers to get him to play, get him to win a game. But Bailey Hockman, you could argue that too. Mm-hmm. You could argue with this past season with Ben Finley as a QB4 there and MJ Morris. I think there's a lot there with P-Mac. Now, I think the play calling we talked about is suspect
fair. That's
times,
fair.
But I just think it's probably I think it's a loss that's not just like, oh, it's an obvious easy see you later for NC State. I think it's kind of, this guy developed some pretty good play from all of his quarterbacks for the most part. Besides, you could argue maybe Jack Chambers was probably the least, but that's about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, I was going to say, did anyone see MJ Morris chimed in on that tweet as well? I don't know if anyone saw that.
QBU, right?
Yeah. The interesting part is we've got the new offense coordinator, but we don't have a new quarterback to coach yet because he hasn't coached quarterbacks in the past. I mean, maybe he does now, but I would highly doubt it. It'll be interesting to see who that replacement is.
So yeah, he did go to Coastal Carolina with Beck. Then I never saw anything official.
Chris Proctor.
Yeah,
because he was the quarterback's coach. I don't know if it was official. But
here's the thought. The thought was that they were going to take the Syracuse QB coach, and he was going to follow Anai to NC State. But they ended up promoting him to OC. Yeah. I think it was. Yeah. So that kind of there's still that opportunity there. Maybe you promote within and shift some guys around to be a QB coach. Yeah. I don't think you do that. Because if you promote Roper to QB you shift Roper to QB, then who's doing running back? Unless it's going to be Anai. So
right. Well, and that's going to be the idea, which I want to point out that Kurt Roper was actually the quarterback's coach in 2019 before they moved them to running backs. Interesting thought there. But yeah, I mean, because right now you still have Joker Phillips coaching the wide receivers, which at least in previous times, I think at Virginia, he was I was a wide receivers coach. Yeah. So what do you do with Joker? Which at least from Joker's background, I don't see him being much of a quarterback's coach, but it would make the most sense for Kurt Roper to move. But also too, I would say that, I feel like that'd be kind of an odd combination. Typically, at least from most times I've usually seen, wide receivers or quarterbacks coach be the coordinators, but not necessarily the running backs. That'd be kind of an interesting one, but not necessarily that's a bad thing, but just it's not typical. But
I think the question is there a limit to how many assistants you can have? I thought it was like 10.
Yes, I don't know the number, but there is a limit. That's why you see
10 or 11. 10 or 11.
Yeah, that's why you see like the Bill O'Briens and like that beforehand. They were special assistants to the head
Yes.
coach.
My question now would be,
Advisors.
has state reached their limit? What they can do. So maybe they can't hire anybody right now. They've already hired Anai and 2J. 2J. That's how you pronounce.
Yeah.
It's a funny name, guys.
Yeah.
It looks
2J.
like it's like some probably like Norwegian or Swedish. It
Yeah.
kind of has that kind of look to it, but it's pronounced 2J.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, maybe.
Well, it's kind of funny how literally the hashtag is TUJ.
Yeah,
So I guess that's basically saying here's how it's pronounced.
And I don't know. I guess it's his wife or maybe daughter. I know she's really big on. I think it's his wife. On Twitter, she's been on Twitter. Is his daughter or wife?
His daughter.
I don't know.
It's his daughter.
It's his daughter.
It's his
Okay,
daughter.
I didn't really pay that close
She's been
attention.
pumped up about coming.
Yeah. But she even said like everyone's name on Twitter has a 2 and a J, so that way people don't get their
2J.
name confused. So I was like,
Yeah.
that's an easy way to remember it. I the reason I was asking about what's Chris? What's his Proctor? Chris Proctor. Yeah. Because I didn't know if he was still on staff, and I hadn't looked at the coaching staff lineup yet. But that's probably hasn't been updated anyway.
I don't know. I didn't see anything official, but I saw that it was expected that he would follow Tim back to Coastal.
Right.
does that mean is it 10? I wonder if that includes the head coach, because right now I'm counting 10 people on staff. Looking at a list here.
How updated is
And
it? Does it have the new?
It's from this past season, so I can take away John Garrison. I can take away Tim back and replace it. So that's 10. That includes Dave Dorn. So
10 must be the limit then.
Let me see.
Okay. Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out. Well, the one thing which I do want to say though is at least from Savannah 2J, who again Coach 2J's daughter, tweeting out saying, I want to learn all the NC State chants and all that jazz, and seeing all the reactions to it, I'm like, man, Savannah might be a celebrity within Wolfpack Nation, in a short amount of time. If she keeps out tweeting out stuff like that, being like, I want to know more stuff about NC State. Like that's pretty cool.
So per SI.com, it's 1 head coach and 10 assistants.
Okay.
So 11 total. 11 total on staff.
So 11.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes to it's funny. I at least NC State, I don't know if we've ever had an assistant coaching staff roster like this, but I've always kind of laughed or giggled at I know Clemson is a team that does this, but it has like outside linebackers coach and inside linebackers coach, and I guess we're kind of odd in that we have a Nickelbacks coach, so it kind of goes both ways.
Nickelback needs a coach. They're not a good band.
Yeah. I love it. Love it. So I do want to, talk a little bit here as well about Devin Leary and the fact that, at least for me, it the biggest thing that goes through my head is just please don't go to Notre Dame. Because at the end of the day, I want him to be successful. I want to cheer for him, on the backside. But not because at the end of the day, because if he goes Notre Dame, we have to face him, that will be the oddest game. I won't even know.
Well, we talked about if Brennan Armstrong comes to state,
we play UV next year. That's true.
Yeah. So very interesting thought, but I'm just saying that I'm going to be like Will Ferrell in the Talladega Nights, where I'm going to go. I don't know what to do with my hands if Devin Leary comes to NC State, to play us like that. That's going to be me.
But what are your thoughts on the schools that he's mentioned going to? Like they're not that
So I saw Mike Farrell from the Rivals. He said the 2 names he's hearing on a post I saw was Illinois and Missouri.
Illinois is interesting because his brother's there.
No way.
That's what that post said. I'm not saying it's going to be that, but that's what he's. What was it? He made it kind of like it might come down to those 2.
Yeah, so I think that was what people were speculating about Illinois because his brother's there, Missouri because Drinkowitz and he's the one who recruited him to state. There was from I think Brian Doan or some 24/7 national guy confirmed that 6 schools have reached out to Devin Leary: Notre Dame,
That's what I saw.
UCLA, Oregon, Auburn,
South Carolina,
Kentucky, South Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, Florida.
Florida,
Which, of
though,
course-
there was a tweet that said Florida did.
I hadn't seen
Did that
Florida.
not happen?
That's the first time I'd heard of Florida.
I think it's people speculating.
And then
that
on three,
he might go there.
just reported Kentucky, right?
Yeah, he
so
has a visit.
basically,
he was visiting Florida.
essentially, what's happening. Essentially, what they're saying is any legitimate school, they're reaching out to Devin Leary.
But
they'd be stupid not to.
But again, none of those teams minus Notre Dame will probably be in the conversation vying for a national championship next year. So maybe Oregon. Maybe
I don't
Oregon.
know.
What? Who would you
I'm trying to
say?
think who would be.
Off that list?
UCLA
No, not
was top
UCLA.
15. I'm not saying. Hold on. I'm trying to ask who are the teams.
Sorry.
Who are the teams
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah,
here?
so UCLA was one.
Oregon.
Kentucky, Oregon, South
Kentucky
Carolina.
were they top 10 team? I don't
Kentucky.
think they're going to be.
They were
I
a
don't think they're
fraud.
gonna be a national-
Yeah, they were a fraud. They got
Okay, I
exposed
can't
2
remember.
weeks
I'm
in a
not.
row.
Just
No, you were
chill
right
out.
though. No, you were right. They were top 10.
They were.
Yeah, no.
But they had worse offense than us.
Greg's going to come over here and fight me.
No, I'm not gonna fight
Don't
you
you
at
ever
all.
tell me Kentucky's good ever.
well,
again.
No, it's
Well,
just, go ahead.
And because here, let me make
I'm
your point for
picking.
you, Greg.
I'm picking.
Let me make your point for you. So when Will Levis, the quarterback for Kentucky, when he got injured and was out, Levis, when Will Levis got out, Kentucky was awful. I mean, they like Will is the guy that made Kentucky's engine go.
So they wilted
Simple as
without
that.
Will is what you're saying.
Yeah. So I guess because my point is that honestly, I came into this like the news of Leary leaving, basically saying that he's going to go somewhere that once you add Devin Leary, that national contender is bound. Like
I'm just not convinced because they play in that SEC, man. That's a
yeah. Well, now the one that interests me the most, obviously, because my wife is actually the one that brought it to my attention, is South Carolina, obviously, and that interests me for 2 reasons. One, because obviously me being a 5% South Carolina fan, whatever you want to say, like I'm saying that my love for NC State is way above South Carolina, but then I'm spending money there, so I'm
you got to
cheering
keep
for
the
them.
wife happy, man. We get it.
Exactly. But so obviously, if I could cheer for Leary, that'd be awesome. But also too, because Spencer Rattler still hasn't announced if he's officially going or staying too. So I'm like, that's interesting. Why would they talk to Devin Leary if he hasn't fully announced yet?
Look at stirring the pot over there. I like it.
We're here like South Carolina, South Carolina.
So what do you think? So do you think Spindler?
How you doing there, Spindler?
Spindler Latin word.
Spencer Rattler stays or goes though. Like, I mean, I really haven't
think he
been
stays.
following him. Yeah, he just he was too up and down this year, really.
He had 2 big games, and this is a very quarterback heavy draft class this year. Very QB heavy.
It's a very skill position player draft class too.
Yes, it
QB,
is.
wide receiver, running back.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go last on running backs too. Bijan Robinson, Sean Tucker. I could go. Who else is good?
I'm not allowed to have a hot take on
Zach
Sean Tucker.
Charbonnet, Zach Evans. So, yeah. Anyways,
yeah. No. So yeah. I mean,
Bigsby.
but again, it just interests me being like, why is South Carolina talking to Devin Leary? But
I guess they have to have contingencies. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to be quote unquote caught with your pants down, right? Like you don't be blindsided by that. So
I'm sure
exactly.
Spencer Rattler has had conversations saying I'm going to look at the drafts. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But once again, wherever he goes, I don't care as long as it's not Notre Dame, just because of the fact I don't want him coming to Carter Finley next year. Simple as that. That's all I care about.
Can we pause for like 1 second? Because I do have a couple random questions regarding all this, because I think it's all pertinent. When I know the window closes for the portal sometime mid-January. Is that a true statement? I think like January 15th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that number sticks in my mind.
It's 45 days from December 5th. So
that sounds about right then. So the 15th sounds about right. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
But and then when's the date?
18th
for the portal.
Okay.
For the portal.
Yep,
okay.
18th.
All right. And then what's the date then for declaring for the NFL? Does anybody know that date? And the reason I ask this is because all of that kind of goes hand in hand, right? So like if you don't declare before the portal
16th.
Okay, so there you go.
Whoa.
So there's a 2-day window there where you can potentially declare, and then you have 2 days to fill a slot. So just something to throw out there for food for thought.
Yeah, no, again, and this is kind of my biggest thing too. And I heard, I was listening, I can't remember what radio, because my dad, that's the thing he does. He always plays, sports radio 99.9 while he's driving around. And I can't remember who he said they had on, but I think it was some kind of former football player. And basically the guy said that in his opinion, they need to either get rid of NIL or go back to the old transfer portal rules. Because right now, he said per his quote, it's the wild, wild west now.
Well, Doran kind of said that
you just
today.
saw Washington State's coach just said a comment today. He's like, guys, there is so much tampering. It's more than you can even imagine right now. He said, I had a head coach message my player to come, a head coach of another team message my player. He didn't name names, and you know how legit that is, but I mean,
where there's smoke, there's fire, though, right? Like, typically.
Right. Dave Doran said something today in his press conference, right?
And then I retweeted Tom Lavosi. Did anybody see his tweet thread the other day? Like,
I think that was in light of the Josh Harris.
I think
stuff,
exactly that was my thought.
Maybe
process
more
too.
than that, but
no, that was my train of thought too, Macon. So and Doran even alluded to that today about third parties giving kids bad advice and how it's kind of screwing up with their, the camaraderie. Because again, we kind of mentioned it in the live show. It's when we talked about kids transferring out, it's not the kids that are sitting and waiting always, right? And Doran mentioned that. He's like, look, I understand if you're stuck beneath the depth chart and you just can't get out of it because we're so stacked. But for guys that are actively engaged in playing and starters and they're rolling out, and it's not a quote unquote culture thing, like there's something to be looked at there.
Absolutely. Completely agree with you on that. Completely agree. So that being said, I definitely want to talk a lot, some more here about the NIL transfer portal stuff. Sure. But we want to take a pause right here and in part one, and we'll pick that up right back here in part two. So with that being said, just as a reminder, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you are notified all your devices whenever we go live with any new Tuffy Talk content, whenever we do any of our live shows, any of our watch parties. And also, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this discussion, if you wouldn't mind, it helps us out a lot. Hit that like button, and also to follow us at Tuffy Talk now on Twitter and Instagram. But with that being said, we'll see y'all for part two. As always, go back, baby.